two coworkers start the same job on the same day at the same salary, $70,000 a year. 5 years later, one of them still lives paycheck to paycheck, stressed every time the car gets declined at the pump. The other one just handed in a 2-week notice with 11 months of expenses sitting in a savings account and no new job lined up yet. Same income the entire time, not even close to the same life. The first one isn't reckless. No casinos, no secret debt, no scandal. They just own more. A nicer truck, a bigger apartment, a garage half full of gear from hobbies that lasted about a season each. The second one isn't earning extra income on the side either. They just figured out something most people never do. Everything you buy keeps charging you money long after the receipt prints. That's the whole idea hiding underneath every one of these rules. A purchase isn't one transaction, it's a subscription you signed up for without reading the terms. Think about what actually happens after you buy something. There's the price tag, the part everyone sees. Then there's the part nobody adds up. The closet space it eats, the insurance line item, the Saturday afternoon you lose cleaning or fixing it, the money that could have been sitting in an index fund instead of sitting in your garage. A $4,000 exercise bike doesn't cost $4,000. It costs $4,000 plus a corner of your bedroom, plus the $400 that same space would rent for if you sublet it, plus whatever that money would have grown into if it had gone into the market instead. The sticker price is just the cover charge. The real bill keeps arriving every month you still own the thing. People who are actually good at holding on to money have quietly figured out 9 rules that run on this exact idea. None of them are about deprivation. None of them mean living in an empty room eating rice. They're about refusing to pay twice for things that only deserve to be paid for once. Are you all? 1. Calculate the price per use, not the price tag. Before you buy anything, guess honestly how many times you'll actually use it, then divide the cost by that number. A $150 pair of running shoes you wear 3 times a week for a year costs about $1 a run. A $300 waffle iron you use twice a year costs $150 a waffle. On paper, the shoes look like the bigger purchase. In reality, they're the cheaper one, by a landslide. This one calculation quietly kills most impulse buys before they happen, because it turns, "that looks nice," into a number you can't argue with. Are you all? 2. Run the replacement. Test on what you already own. Walk through your own home and ask, item by item, if this vanished tonight, would I actually go buy it again? Not, might I, would you? The bread machine. The blender attachment still in its box. The jeans from 2 sizes ago. Most people find that the honest answer is no, for a huge share of what they own. Those items aren't neutral. They're costing you closet space, cleaning time, and a small tax on your attention every time your eyes pass over them. Anything that fails its own replacement test isn't really yours anymore. It's just visiting. Are you all? 3. Never upgrade something that still works. There's a specific trap that catches people who earn good money, replacing things not because they broke, but because they got bored of them. The phone still makes calls fine, but the new one has a better camera. The couch is completely intact, but it's just kind of old now. That's not maintenance. That's manufactured dissatisfaction, and it's expensive. Swap your phone every 2 years instead of every 4 or 5. In over 3 decades, that habit alone can run you tens of thousands of dollars. Money that did nothing but make a working object feel less shiny for a while. Minimalists draw one hard line: broken gets replaced. Bored does not. RUL, 4 were, make spending hard and saving automatic. Willpower is a terrible long-term financial plan because it runs out exactly when you're tired, stressed, or emotional, which is precisely when most bad purchases happen. So instead of trying to out-willpower yourself, rearrange the environment. Delete the shopping apps. Take your card out of every site's saved payment settings so checkout takes real effort. Give yourself a firm rule: nothing non-essential gets bought same day. It waits 24 hours. Meanwhile, flip that friction around for saving. Set the transfer to investments to happen automatically on payday before you ever see the number in checking. A surprising amount of financial discipline isn't discipline at all. It's just designing a system where the lazy option happens to be the smart one. RULE 5. Actually count what you own. This sounds almost silly until you try it. Pick one category, shirts, coffee mugs, tools in the garage, and count it. Most people guess a number, then find they actually own 2 or 3 times that. Once you know you're standing in front of 41 t-shirts instead of the 15 you assumed, buying a 42nd one stops feeling like getting a shirt and starts feeling like what it actually is: piling on. The self-storage industry in the US is now worth roughly $48 billion a year, and something like 1 in 8 American households pays a monthly bill just to store stuff they don't have room for at home, and, in most cases, barely visit. Counting is free. Storage isn't. RUEL 6. Rent the hobby before you buy the identity. Most enthusiasm has a shelf life, and most people find that out after they've already bought the gear. The garage is where good intentions go to gather dust. Camping equipment from a trip that happened once, a guitar from the month someone was getting serious about music, a kayak that's touched water twice. Before buying into a new interest, rent, or borrow it first. If the excitement survives 3 or 4 real sessions, then you know it's genuinely yours, and buying the gear makes sense. If it doesn't, you just saved yourself from becoming a museum curator for a hobby you tried once. RULE 7. Watch for the purchases that multiply. Some purchases are never just one purchase. A boat needs a trailer, a hitch, a storage slip, insurance, and winterizing every year. A pool needs chemicals, a cover, furniture, and a fence to meet code. What looked like one $5,000 decision quietly turns into $8,000 or $9,000 once every accessory it demands gets added up. Before any big purchase, ask what it's going to force you to buy next. Because that follow-on shopping list is where the real damage happens, and it rarely shows up in the original price tag. RULEHD. Decide what knock looks like before the raise arrives. Here's what traps a lot of high earners. They never define a finish line, so every raise just becomes a bigger apartment or a nicer car, and the stress never actually goes down. It just moves to a more expensive zip code. People earning $300,000 a year regularly report feeling just as financially squeezed as people earning $80,000 because their spending grew exactly as fast as their paycheck did. Warren Buffett, one of the richest people who has ever lived, still lives in the same house in Omaha that he bought in 1958 for $31,500. Not because he can't afford something bigger, obviously he can, many times over, but because he decided decades ago what enough house looked like, and he never moved the goalpost after that. Decide your number before the money shows up, or the money will decide it for you. RUL. 9. Measure wealth by what you can say no to. The usual way people size up wealth is by looking at what someone owns. The better measure is what someone can walk away from. Can you leave a job that's grinding you down without panicking about next month's rent? Can you take 2 months off to handle a family emergency? Someone earning $200,000 a year but spending nearly all of it has almost none of that freedom. They're just as trapped as someone earning a third as much. Someone spending well under their income, on the other hand, has actual options to quit, to move, to take the risk, to say no to a job that pays well but costs them their evenings and weekends. That gap between what you make and what you spend isn't just savings. It's the size of your exit door. Here's the part almost nobody tells you about all 9 of these rules. The relationship between owning less and having money runs in both directions. Owning less obviously frees up cash. But it works the other way too. Once your savings account actually has a cushion in it, the urge to buy things quiets down on its own. A lot of spending isn't really about the object at all. It's about a flicker of anxiety looking for something to land on, and a new purchase is just the fastest available distraction. Fix the anxiety by building real financial margin, and the compulsion to fill your cart starts dissolving without you white-knuckling through it. That cuts both ways though. Spend down to 0 every month, and the anxiety never gets a chance to leave. It just finds the next purchase to hide behind, and the cycle resets itself, a little worse each time. 2 people can earn the exact same salary and end up on opposite ends of that loop, one spiraling tighter every year, the other getting looser and freer with every paycheck. The income was never the variable that mattered. The loop was. None of this has to happen all at once. This week, walk through one room and find 5 things that fail the replacement test. Sell them, donate them, or throw them out, and notice that nothing about your life gets worse. This month, put a real 24-hour rule on anything non-essential, and watch how many must-haves quietly stop mattering by the next morning. This year, write down, in one sentence, what enough actually means for you. Enough house, enough car, enough stuff. So the number exists somewhere other than a moving target in the back of your head. Go back to those 2 coworkers. Same job, same start date, same paycheck for 5 years straight. The difference was never how much money came in. It was how much of it got asked to stick around instead of walking straight back out the door disguised as a new couch, a bigger TV, or a boat that goes out twice a summer. Owning less isn't the sacrifice it sounds like. It's just quietly refusing to pay twice for things that were only ever worth paying for once, and letting everything you don't buy turn into the one thing money was supposed to buy you in the first place: the freedom to choose what happens next.